Hi, everyone. I received a really great question last week that I'm going to answer in a series of videos over this week. And I think it will take 5 parts and we'll run every day and we'll finish on Friday. So the question that I received was specifically about evaluating a training, event, or program. But I think that what I'm going to talk about in this series is going to be useful to a lot of different types of programs or events. So just to clarify some terms, when I say a training, I could mean one-off or I could mean a series. It doesn't matter for the examples that we're going to talk through this week. I do mean something that is aimed at adults and probably something in the professional development realm, right? So it could be a pedagogy class for teachers, or class on differentiating instruction. It could be a course that I'm in right now about setting goals for your business, right? That's the kind of example that we're thinking about. So one of the questions that I got asked was, I've got some data and what do I do with it? How do I present it? How do I use it to tell the story? I'm going to take us back to the beginning, right? And we're going to think through 5 steps and we're actually going to get to analysis towards the end. And that's important because we want to put our analysis in the context of our program. Remember that we're analyzing data, and what's data? On its own, it's nothing. Our role as evaluators is to turn data into information and into knowledge. And we can only do that with a little bit of context. So the first question I want you to ask yourself about your training or about your event is, picture that the event has just ended and the participants are leaving or logging off, as the case may be, and they're saying, that class was so blank. I learned a lot of blank. And now I'm going to be able to blank, and my organization is going to be better off because blank, okay? Fill in those 4 blanks. That course was so what? The participants learned what? And they're going to be able to what? And how is their organization or themselves going to be better off? Now that fits into your logic model. So those measures that are, how did the participant describe this program? Those are quality measures, right? The words that they might use there: interesting, engaging, relevant, convenient, timely, right? Those are all indicators of the quality of the implementation of your program, right? Now, the things that they learned, short-term outcomes, right? What do they know now as a result of participating in the program that they didn't know before? That's a short-term outcome. So let's say I went to a course on riding a bike last weekend. I might say that course was convenient and timely, reassuring, welcoming to me as a participant. And now I know how to ride a bike safely on the streets, right? That's the number one thing that I need to learn from this engagement. Now, the next part is, I'm going to be able to, what am I going to be able to do with this new knowledge? So if your training was for teachers and it was on differentiating learning, they might say, I'm going to be able to design lessons that really reach all of my learners effectively, right? If we go back to the example of me learning to ride a bike, I might say, now I'm going to be able to confidently and safely get to a lot of places I need to go, right? So the medium-term outcomes are, what is the participant going to be able to do now because of the knowledge that they gained, right? And then that third piece is, how's their life better off? This is the so what question that we need to address. How is the person or the organization better off because they know this thing and they can do this thing, right? So the teacher might say, my classroom is really going to be better off now. Everybody is going to learn better, and it's going to be a more joyful, happy experience for everyone. The cyclist might say, I can get to food resources, I can get to my medical appointments, right? I can access a lot more resources now. I'm really going to be better off, right? That's your long-term outcome. Why does this matter? If it's professional development, we might say, what am I going to be able to do in my organization, right? Take that example of the goal setting class. Well, I know a lot about setting goals and achieving them. I'm going to be able to, right, create action plans to accomplish these goals. And I'm going to be better off because I'm going to hit my revenue targets and my lifestyle targets, right? So those are your short-term, medium-term, and then long-term outcomes. Now, I want you to document those because in the next step, which will come tomorrow, we're going to talk about creating an evaluation plan so that you can measure those, right? Who do you ask? Where do you ask? Or what do you count to fill in each of those slots? And then we're going to talk towards the end about how do we bring this back to the logic model and interpret any findings that we have in the context of the program and our vision for that program. So stay tuned. I will be on a little bit earlier tomorrow. I will schedule this so you can see in the group when I'm going to go live, and we should finish this process by the end of the week. If you have questions based on what I've said today or points you want to make sure that I include tomorrow and the rest of the week, please put them in the comments underneath this. And if you have a colleague or a coworker who you think, oh, is working on this exact thing and should follow along, please make sure to invite them to the group and let them know about this. Talk soon.